All right, today you guys, you are going to be using your symbols, your hieroglyphic symbols that we talked about in class last time, and I know you only had just a little bit of time to look at these, but you're going to use the different symbol pages and you're sharing amongst your table, and you're going to choose at least 4 different symbols to put on your piece of art. What does the word at least mean? It means that you can do 4 or more, but can you do less than 4? No, you are correct. You cannot do less than 4. The reason why I say this is that some people have really big pieces that they tore off to make their rock art on. If you are a person who did a really big piece, 4 symbols may not be enough, so you might need to make more than that. So make sure that you do at least 4 pieces of art on your artwork. Now, there are a couple of examples that I have on here to remind you of a couple of pointers. On this piece of art, I did a very good example of drawing big on my artwork, okay? And what I mean by that is that I went ahead and did 4 different symbols on here, but when I did them, I drew them to where they were really big on the piece of paper, where I had hardly any space left over in my piece of art. And you know what? I actually think right here, I could actually draw something else right there. So I'm going to add one more thing on my artwork because I feel like I have enough room to add something else. So I'm adding a symbol on here that I see right now on this piece over here. See, I just drew that little guy right there. Okay, so I actually filled in, so now I have 5 different symbols. So that's okay. If you get to 4 and you realize, you know what, I've drawn really big and did what Miss H said, but I still have some room left, you can totally go and add more in there. That's fine, okay? So then, what you're going to do, oh, also, I have another example here. So you can see how they look a little bit different, okay? So notice I did the same exact symbols, but look at my space. Look at how much space that I have left around all of these symbols. And you know what? These pieces of paper are just about the same size. Okay? Who do you think is going to have a harder time painting? The person who did like this or the person who did like this? You're right. The person who drew very small is going to have a really hard time painting, especially on this really wrinkly paper. So make sure that as you're drawing today, you choose to do it like this and not like this. If your art happens to look like this, where it's too small on your paper, please stop what you're doing, erase, and start over. And you know what? There's no shame in doing that. You have little erasers that are really good for erasing, and you know what? It would be better if you went ahead and fixed it now than if you wait and have to paint on stuff that's really too small. You would be really frustrated with yourself, okay? So the last thing I want to remind you of as you guys leave to go work on your artwork, and that is this. Draw big. Okay? Notice how I use my space on this paper. I didn't have hardly any space left when I wrote those words. I did that on purpose to remind you that as you're working today, you need to draw really, really big. Now, when you get finished with this artwork, you're going to show it to your substitute, and she's going to make sure that you've drawn big like you've been told. And if you have, you're going to turn your paper into the substitute. You are not going to give it or put it at the end of the table like you normally do. You're going to go ahead and turn it in, and then she's going to have an activity for you to do, and I have it already planned out. So if you get finished, you are not doing stations today. You are going to go ahead and do your activity that I have planned. Okay? I hope you have a great day. Do hard work, do good work, and I will see you back next week.